we're going to make a tier list for all of the classes and which classes look the strongest and most fun to play with the level 50 talents. Starting with the S tier. In my opinion, the S tier class of Phase 3 is going to be Combat Rogue. Any disagreements? Any disagreements, guys? They scale the absolute best. They scale the best with more talents, with 10 more levels. They're getting a completely new playstyle. They're getting infinite combo points. Rogues are going to be insane for Phase 3. Rogues will be S tier. I'm calling it now. And I don't even play a rogue. That's just my that's my take. They have the best talent trees, guys. It just is what it is. This is a PvE tier list. What I think the classes that are getting the best changes that will do the most damage. Yes. I think Rogue is going to be S tier. Okay. And as well as they're going to be a lot more fun to play. Hunter, Marksman Hunter scales very well with gear. They scale very well with talents. And their new rune makes their class extremely exciting to play when paired with Trap Launcher. And for that reason, I'm putting Marksman Hunters in the S tier category as well. Now, Rogue, Marksman Hunter, and there's one other class that I think will be S tier for next phase. And that class is obviously Enhancement Shaman. These are the three classes that I think, after reviewing all the specs and damage, are going to be on the top of the DPS charts. Enhancement Shaman, nothing much is changing. They're just getting more damage, more crit. And it's just insane what they're getting. Yeah. That's what's happening, guys. Whether you like it or not. These classes are going to be good. I don't know if Hunter and Rogue will be S tier, but I think that the changes that they're getting are making their class more fun. And so for those reasons, I'm keeping them up at S tier. Now, I think that there's a lot of classes that are moving up and down into the A tier. There's certain classes that do not scale very good with the level 50 coming out. They just don't. And so I think that there's going to be a new meta forming in the Warlock genre. And I think that Affliction Warlocks could be moving up from like D tier or F tier. They could be moving up to the A tier with this change. Their dots can crit now. They have a good talent build that scales well with the Shadow Bolt ability. If their Shadow Bolt ability gives them 20% shadow damage, Affliction Warlocks could be insane. I think that the stocks are going up for the Afflocks. That's my opinion from what I saw. Now, the Destrolocks, they were S tier. With the Lake of Fire change, they don't really benefit too much from the other trees very much. I think Destrolock is probably still going to be A, possibly B tier. I don't want to, they were already S tier, so I'm just going to move them down to A, but they could possibly be B tier with the change. I'm going to say Destrolocks are still going to be A tier though. Let us see. I think that BM Hunter is going to be very good as well with Trap Launcher. I'm putting them in the A tier. We are going to take a look at Warrior. Fury Warrior is in the B tier for me. The synergy with their runes doesn't work very well with two-handed weapons. Changing from Berserker stance to arms to battle stance in order to cast a overpower. It just doesn't have good synergy with the new rune system. I think Fury Warriors will eventually be S tier at level 60, but not right now. I think that it's still going to be an Arms Warrior meta, and they are probably going to be A tier Arms Warriors in the next patch. That being said, Arms Warrior will drop and Fury will pass everyone and probably be S plus at level 60. That's what I think from what I got to see. Let's take a look now at something that I wasn't expecting this, but Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest, in my opinion, they were in the A tier. As far as like what they bring to the raid, utility, their damage was probably more B tier than anything. I think that Shadow Priest is actually gonna stay like right where they are. They're not getting any more power from talents. The only thing they're getting is the ability to crit from their runes, and they're getting an additional like fiend to throw out at targets. So it's just like a slight damage increase, but their dots being able to crit is massive. Pair them with an Affliction Warlock with Curse of Elements, and you could see Shadow Priest doing really well. Yeah, the 10%, the Destro, yeah, for sure. With the world buff, they're getting more crit, more spell damage. Casters in general are going to scale better with the world buff than melee. Because they get an extra 65 spell power and melee don't get any attack power and compensation. However, melee do scale better with buffs, so I think it is very smart what Blizzard is doing, giving spell power to casters so they can help them to scale better with the melee and the way that melee scales with stats and crit damage. Okay, moving on to mages. Mages are in a tough spot. Oh, Fire Mage was the top damage. Yo, Zaruba, 7 months with the Prime, man. Thank you so much, Zaruba. And I appreciate everything you've done for me, Zaruba, by the way. Thank you so much, bud. Guys, Fire Mages were S tier. They were S tier. They are not getting any help in Phase 3. No, none of their talent points are really helping them unless you go some kind of weird build with Balefire and Ignite. Now, if they turn into a one-button build, there's several builds that we've cooked up. The Balefire build, the Spell Frost build, and the Frostfire build with Ignite. And if those builds work, you're going to be a one-button rotation. But for now, I'm putting all mages in the B category until proven otherwise. Mage is just not taking off with the talents like some of the other classes are, and I don't foresee them scaling to the top. I don't think we cooked up a few builds. We cooked up a Shatter build with Frost. Building an entire build around getting a 15% crit is just not good. The Fire Mages, like I said, are not scaling with the 10 levels. And the Arcane, maybe the Arcane Ignite Mage could be the best. And in that case, you're just spamming the Spellfire bolt over and over and over. This is going to be, with the changes, with the rune links, this is the tier list for DPS, single target DPS for raid, for P3. This is my prediction on after looking at all the runes and taking a look over. Now, Ret Paladins, easy A tier. Easy A tier for Ret Paladins. They are getting stronger. They're getting more strength. They're getting consecration. Ret Paladins are going to be very strong. Pally tanks are going to be amazing. They look really good. I love where Paladin is going. I firmly believe Paladin might be in the S tier at level 60. Paladins and Warriors and Rogues will continue to scale, as well as Hunters, with more talent points and with more levels. Fury Warrior will outscale everything, but at level 50, this is what I think what we're looking at. And to be honest, this Frost build is probably C tier. I'm not even gonna lie. Completely relying on a 15% crit chance is ass, and everybody knows it. Although on paper it seems like it could be good, I don't think it is. Let's take a look at Boomkins and Ferals. Boomkins and Ferals, I feel like Feral is going to continue to scale at level 60, but because they're not able to get Furor in their build, instead they have to go with, where's the druid abilities? Let me pull up the Feral Druid really quickly. They're missing a few things. So Feral Druids, they're not able to get Furor. They're not able to get Omen of Clarity. When they get 10 more levels, they obviously will be able to get these things. And it will definitely scale their damage a bit more. So I feel like Feral has room to grow in regards to where they're at now. Where's my tier list? There it is. So I feel like Feral is good. They're getting better from where they are, but not much is changing about the rotation. Their rune is kind of mediocre. I'm probably going to keep Feral. This is tough, guys. With Pummeler, this is tough for me. It's somewhere in between B. I put him at like a B+. I put him somewhere in like a B+ right now, and I see them maybe going to A tier at level 60. So we'll give them some room to grow. Now, Boomkins are looking good. They've been consistent DPS dealers. I like the damage that they provide to the raid. Boomkins are just not getting much from level 60. From level 50. They're just getting improved Mark of the Wild, and nothing much is changing about their playstyle. They're just extend their Moonfire by 6 seconds, and they get Gale Winds, which is just an instant, increases the damage of their Hurricane. So they could just spam Hurricane, which is not going to help them in single target damage. So yeah, Boomkins got better in a sense, but not for single target damage. So I'm going to put Boomkins. Where is Boomkin? Am I blind? Guys, where's the Boomkin one at? Is this Boomkin? I'm dumb. I put Boomkin up here instead of Arcane Mage. Oh, we got Boomkin right here. My bad. Okay, so Arcane Mage and Boomkin, I'm putting them both in the B category anyway, so it was already on there. Yeah, it was already on there. Is the MM Hunter supposed to be melee or range? We're doing range Hunter. We didn't do a tier list. We didn't do a tier list, a build guide yet for melee Hunter. But I think we should. I think we should do a melee Hunter build to see what they're getting. And we could do that after this. As far as rogues go, I think that, I mean, the only real build is going to be Adrenaline Rush rogues, I'm pretty sure. That's the rogue build that we did this for. This is the rogue build that we went with. I mean, Vigor could be okay. I just don't think that this build is going to be as good as the combat rogue build with Adrenaline Rush. So for that reason, we're not going to rank assassination rogues. We're just going to do a build for combat with the mutilate spec. And I think that rogues are looking very good with mutilate. Now, this one kind of surprised me. Elemental shamans. I feel like Ellie's got a lot of really good stuff, you guys. Let's pull up the elemental tier list really quickly. I feel like Ellie is going to be exciting to play. They get improved lightning shield. They get more mana. They don't really get too much from the extra 10 talent points, but the runes that they're getting, it's going to change their playstyle. You're going to have to go into melee range and auto attack once in order to get your mental dexterity up every minute. And then you're able to unleash your lightning shield procs by casting Earth Shock on cooldown, pretty much. You want to always unleash your rolling thunders. They're getting nerfed in a bit with the Spirit of the Alpha. It's not going to benefit them anymore, so the attack power is not going to work for the mental dexterity, so the Spirit of the Alpha will not stack with mental dexterity. So in that regards, I don't think it's going to put Ellie's up to S tier, but they are high A tier. I would put Ellie's kind of in the high A tier category. If I had to choose one. Yeah, and pretty high up in the A tier category. And if I had to choose what rankings all of these would be in this order, I think it's still Enhanced Shaman on top, and then it's Rogue and Hunter. Now, did we miss any DPS specs? Demonology and Assassination we're not doing. Combat Rogue is extremely high, guys, for the main reason they're getting Honor Among Thieves and Carnage. They're getting flat 20% increased damage and infinite combo points, guys. Do you know how much damage rogues would do with 20% increased damage now and infinite combo points? Yeah. They would be top damage. They would be doing a lot. And that's why I'm putting Rogue in the S tier right now, because they got the best changes of the entire thing. Rogues are going to be good again, for sure. Yeah. Now, the Prot Warrior, there is a chance, guys, that Prot Warriors with one-handers could be dealing some serious damage. I don't want to necessarily do put Gladiator tank up here as a DPS, but I do feel like we should do a tank tier list maybe tomorrow, and then maybe a healer tier list after that. But this is my prediction for like the damage tier list. If you want, I could throw these down here for C tier. But I don't think that there's going to be any really bad classes. Now, Melee Hunter, I still feel like Melee Hunter is going to be good. They're still going to be A tier. I just think that the Ranged Hunters got better skills, in my opinion, than the Melee Hunters. But Combat Rogue looks absolutely insane. I feel like they're the biggest W with the runes and the 10 extra points. They are the biggest W of the level 50 bracket, and I would not sleep on rogues at level 50, guys. As well as Arms Warriors and Rep Paladins are looking very strong, and Affliction Warlock is probably going to have the biggest come up. They probably moved up from D tier to A tier. And so this is my opinion, what I think is going to be the meta for next tier. The Mages is a wild card. I don't know if their one-button specs are going to be good or not. So, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I'd say Hunters could be S tier, guys. Melee Hunter could be S tier. I'll put him at A+. I'll put him at A+, just above Ellie's. There you go. Here's what I think, you guys, is going to be the top damage classes for next tier. Enhancement Shaman, Rogue, and Marksman Hunter on top. Melee Hunter, Ellie Shaman, Affliction Lock, Rep Pally, Arms Warrior, Destro Lock, and BM Hunter. Well, BM Hunter is Melee Hunter, so let's just put Survival down here. There you go. I think BM Hunters will be very good with in Melee Hunters. And then we have Fury Warriors, which don't scale very well at 50 with the new runes. Shadow Priests don't scale at all at level 50. They're just getting crits on their dots. Mages are in this really weird spot right now, where I don't know what mage build is going to be good. None of the builds really scale well. Fire definitely doesn't scale well with talent points at level 50. And their runes are just not good for fire. So I feel like fire is going to fall in damage. And then you have, Arcane and fire in the same spot. Feral is in a good position. They're going to stay strong and provide wild strikes. I just don't think, I think that Feral will probably be top of the B tier, and Shadow Priest will be better than Fury Warriors on some fights, more than likely. And then you have these 3 specs, which nobody will play in Raid, which will be like Frost, Assassination, Subtlety, and Demonology. So I think Frost could even be down here, and Demonology probably like D tier as well. I mean, I'll just put him in C tier, so like just know that these specs nobody will play. But this is what I think is the list. Now we'll do the tank list tomorrow and the healer list tomorrow. But with these specs, I feel like you're safe. You're definitely safe playing Hunter or Rogue next patch. Shamans and Paladins will always be good. And any spec of Shaman and Warlock Affliction is going to be... Affliction and Rogue are the biggest wins for the current leaks that we've seen so far.